So I love watching music documentaries. I love seeing like the behind the scenes of it all. I really value watching creatives be creative. And obviously I'm spying the gear they're using. But I was watching my stories and I noticed a thing. Harmony, harmony, harmony. Why are all these cool dudes at least starting with a harmony and then moving on, or using a harmony throughout their whole careers? What's the big deal with this guitar brand?
It's time to Google.
So harmony might be a pretty big deal, eh? Let me explain. I came across a video article about how Jimmy Page had donated this guitar to the Met. This guitar that was with him through Led Zeppelin 1 through 4. It wrote Stairway. It was a harmony acoustic guitar. If he didn't have that guitar, you could argue there was a possibility that that would be the most extreme case of Stairway denied. So Harmony is one of the oldest guitar brands to exist. They started in 1892. By the time the 1960s rolled around and everybody was shooting their creative juices into the air, Harmony had produced millions of guitars. In 1916, Sears bought the company, and if you're old enough to know this, when the Sears catalog would come, it was very likely that Harmony guitars are what kids were writing on their Christmas lists. Back then, it was very common to see manufacturers write different brand names on the headstock just for different markets or different dealers, whatnot. So brands like Silvertone, Stella, those were all Harmony brands. And all these guitars are super sought after today because of old guys who want to relive their youth and hipsters. Let's go over to the real talk, coach. We're checking ourselves before we wreck ourselves. Oh, hi. So let's not understate the importance of Harmony guitars. What blows my mind today is that if you walk into a music store, pretty much every guitar you see on the wall is a formidable instrument. They're good. Manufacturing methods we use today are so good that there isn't that big of a gap between a really high-end guitar nowadays and a beginner guitar. Back in the 1960s, if you wanted to learn to play guitar, there was a minefield of absolute crap everywhere you went. And if your guitar was crappy, that would discourage you from playing. We all know that the worse the guitar you start with is, the more likely you're gonna quit. Enter Harmony, a US-made guitar, not the cheapest on the market, but not something so inexpensive that it's gonna be a really tough fight to play. They actually played pretty well. And they were able to maintain that quality at mass production levels. A lot of guitar companies fail when they try to make too many guitars that their factory can handle. So if you're keeping track, they've produced millions of guitars. They're affordable. They're cool. A who's who of players are playing them. So naturally, they went out of business in 1975. In the mid-70s, we started to see the import market from Japan explode, including the rise of Ibanez, one of my favorite guitar brands of all time. But we'll save that for another video. Let me know if you want to see that video. You want to know more about this? Click the thingy. Do it. Gonna believe this. I chose that song specifically because it had an iconic snare hit to kind of scare you back and get your attention again. But I'm watching the music video, and the guitar they chose to represent his first guitar, the one that he bought at the 5 and dime, was a Silvertone Jupiter. You can't make this up. That's crazy. So a wise man once said, "Companies die, but names never do." Now that guy should have never agreed to be on an episode of Undercover Boss, but here we are. I would argue that as long as the original spirit of the brand remains and they're not making crap, I'm cool with it. In 2018, the company named BandLab relaunched Harmony and gave it new life. And hey, this is a disclaimer. While doing my research on Harmony for this video, I actually reached out to BandLab and they were kind enough to send this guitar over to me. Harmony has no say in what is said about this guitar or their company. The goal of this video is just to give you knowledge of the history and current state of Harmony in an as objective way as possible. Make your own decisions. Thank you to Harmony for sending this over. That being said, you might have noticed that I've been having far too much fun with the stock footage in this video. That's Artlist. It's a service that provides stock footage, music, other handy things to help you make your video cute. There's a link in the description that gives you 2 months for free, and buying a subscription through that link supports the channel, so I really appreciate it. So this is a Harmony Jupiter. They have other models that share a similar spec. They're made in the US, and they have some straight up reissues of some classics that are made in Korea. What's really cool about this guitar and any other guitars made in the US is that it's made in the same factory as Heritage guitars. Heritage guitars are made in one of the original factories that Gibson produced guitars in Kalamazoo, Michigan. Yes, that's a real word, Kalamazoo. There's something about a mahogany bodied bolt-on guitar that I really like. It makes for a little bit of more of a snappy feel to the guitar. The bridge is very reminiscent of a Telecaster bridge, which puts the strings much closer to the body. The gold foil humbuckers are really low output, so they got a nice jangle to them. As a result, they're a little bit noisy, but not anything that's outrageous. But what really strikes me about this guitar is that it's not trying to be anything else. It's not Harmony's version of a Les Paul, it's its own thing. And because of that, it's really complementary to the other guitars that I usually play. This combination of specs has me thinking maybe this is the guitar that I tuned down to like a B with some juicy thick strings on there. Whew, that could be good. So let's sum this up. Many of our guitar heroes from the boom of the 1960s, like that guy who wrote Stairways to Heavens and the Canadian icon Bryan Adams, they needed an affordable guitar to learn on, like we all did at one point. Without Harmony, it's not crazy to say that many would have been discouraged and quit playing guitar. The world needed mass-produced guitars that weren't crap, and Harmony answered. We can probably also thank Harmony for a lot of the manufacturing processes used today. And now they're back. The spirit remains. That's pretty cool. Harmony's cool. You're cool for watching this video. Thanks for watching. Have a great day. Click. Click. Boom.